Joined now by Tim Durrant of the non-partisan think tank, the Institute for Government. Tim, good to see you. Thanks for joining us on BBC News this morning. What do you think the key questions are for government right now? Clearly, there are quite a long list of questions. There is a long list of questions that many people want answers to. But what does the government need to tackle first on this whole issue of what happened with Matt Hancock, the question of Gina Coladangelo's appointment, and of course the use of a private email account?
Yeah, I think the fact that he's resigned doesn't mean that this story is over. So first off, with Gina Coladangelow, she was originally working as an unpaid aide, according to the news reports. What exactly was her role in that position? What did she have access to? What was she advising Mr. Hancock on? Are some of the questions there. And then when she became a non-executive director at the Department for Health, how was she appointed? What sort of responsibilities did she have? What kind of expertise was she bringing to the departmental board? And did she declare any potential conflicts of interest, as she is supposed to as a non-exec? There's been a story that her brother works for a private healthcare company, and I think the fact that this only came to light through the sort of media revelations over the last couple of days suggests that the conflict of interest process wasn't working properly in the Department of Health. And then there's a sort of separate set of questions around security and how information is being managed. Question about the footage and where that came from and how that was leaked, but also on emails. Officially, there's no sort of official ban on ministers using private emails for government business. The question is whether or not those emails were sort of accessible for example, freedom of information requests, or when making decisions, whether the information in them made it through to the department. And that we don't know.
And there's the question, of course, of everything not only being above board, but being seen to be above board, which if it is on a non-department email account, clearly causes concern.
Absolutely. I think, this is one of the key points in all of this, is that ministers are expected to avoid any potential conflicts of interest, show that they are sort of, it's incumbent on them, the onus is on them to show that they are being transparent and show that they are abiding by the rules. Whether or not there's any sort of risk of conflict of interest or any sort of information on emails that shouldn't be being used. And that's where the failures have been. Matt Hancock was found to have breached the Ministerial Code himself a few weeks ago by not declaring that that he had shares in a private healthcare company or a company that provided services to the NHS run by his sister. And I think that, the expectation is that ministers will hold themselves to these standards and show themselves to be, meeting the expectations that are in place. And that hasn't happened in this case.
So explain for our viewers, Tim, what is the process by which all of these questions are going to be investigated? Who's going to be responsible for investigating them, and when might we get some answers?
Well, it's different for different aspects of it. So on the security side, on the CCTV, I believe the Department for Health is looking into that themselves. And I think other ministers will also be asking their departments about, what CCTV coverage is there inside my office. On the sort of wider question about the appointment of Gina Coladangelow and the role she was playing and any conflicts of interest, I think that would really fall to the Prime Minister's independent advisor on ministerial interests, Lord Geit, who was appointed a few weeks ago. The problem there is that he can only investigate if the Prime Minister asks him to. And the Prime Minister has said he considers the matter closed. Now, that was obviously before Matt Hancock's resignation. There might be more pressure brought to bear on the Prime Minister. But there is no, Angela Rayner has written to various people, but there is no sort of external sort of switch for an investigation to happen. It has to be the Prime Minister that says, I would like you to look into this. And he has taken the stance in the past that he doesn't really want people looking into what his ministers are doing.
And even though then the Prime Minister very quickly said the matter was closed with regards to Matt Hancock, apparently we understand there was a lot of pressure from a significant number of MPs making it known to the Prime Minister that they thought Matt Hancock's position was simply untenable. So will there be a certain pressure, do you think, from within the party on the Prime Minister to actually launch an investigation into this?
Yeah, I think that's difficult to say. As you say, it's the Conservative Party and members and MPs who were able to change the dial on this so far. I I can imagine there might be sort of a sense of relief, okay, well, he's gone, therefore we can move on. And I think that would be a shame, because I think it's in the public interest for there to be a proper investigation and understand all of the facts of this matter, rather than just drawing a line under it because he's resigned.
OK, Tim, thank you very much for that. Tim Durrant from the Institute for Government.